Hello, and a very warm welcome to our National Black History Month event in partnership with Foundervine. By way of introduction, my name's Natalie Ojiva, and I'm the Ecosystem Manager at our Eagle Labs site in Notting Hill Gate. Just to tell you a little bit about Eagle Labs, and I won't take much of your time because we have a lot to get through today, but we are essentially designed to support businesses and entrepreneurs grow through access to our business incubations across 25 locations across the UK, but also through our mentoring and curated programs. And I'm very, very happy at this point to introduce over Indy Gordon, who works for Foundervine. Indy, do you want to introduce the audience a little bit to yourself?
Yes, hi everybody. My name is Indy Gordon and I'm the program manager at Foundervine. I have the great opportunity of overseeing our programs team and all the amazing programs that we run. So Foundervine is an award-winning social enterprise that specializes in startups and scale-up acceleration programs. We want to build a world where anybody, regardless of background, has the opportunity to start their own business, grow it and thrive. So that's why we're here today.
Important to kind of just talk about the importance of why Eagle Labs and Foundervine have partnered up together. And I think a lot of people would agree with me to say that 2020 has definitely been a challenging year with COVID-19 and the Black Lives Matter movement. And I think it's very important that we see corporates like Barclays stand up and show solidarity, not only with the Black community, but also to celebrate Black founders and Black businesses. So without saying too much about some things that we've been working with Foundervine for, and we've launched our Black Founders Accelerator in partnership with Foundervine, which we will go into a little bit more detail a bit later on. But it's things like this where we need to see more events and more where we're putting our Black founders and Black entrepreneurs to the face. So without saying any too much, Indy, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what to expect for today?
Yeah, so the main reason we are all here today is to firstly celebrate. We want to celebrate the Black figures and historians of the past, the present, and the future. But we also want to learn and just explore everything that we have gone through and everything that we are building to develop. So we'll focus on the past and we will take a look at some of the key people who have paved the way and created amazing things that give us such ease in our day and age today. We will then focus on the present and we'll look at some of the amazing founders who are building a great foundation in such a challenging time. And then finally, we will look at the future and we will celebrate and we will explore all the amazing things that are coming so that our generations to come can live and develop and build and grow whatever it is they want to because they have absolute freedom. So this is all going to be done through storytelling, which is just a fantastic tool for us to go on this journey and explore. And I would like to introduce you to our storyteller. Aleem Kamara is an award-winning storyteller and has been featured in many different publications across the UK. He will be taking us on an amazing journey and he'll be kicking us off with exploring culture. So I would like to introduce Aleem.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. As you have been told, I am a storyteller, founder of Story. So right now we're going to get into some storytelling. So I'm going to need some cameras on, like panelists, people who are going to be involved. I'm going to force you right now to, whether it's your mics or your cameras, get them on because, and I hope if you're at home, you're going to get involved as well. When I say story, you say story.
Story.
Thank you. Well, this is what happens. I need you to get involved with this story I'm about to tell, because this is how I grew up listening to storytelling. Yeah. So are you not going to get involved? Are you not going to get involved?
We got you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a long time ago, there was a hat maker. Let me see your hands. There was a
Hat maker.
maker. He made lots. Let me see it. Lots and lots and lots and lots of
Hats.
you. And he woke up one day and said, "It is a beautiful day." What is it? It's a
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
He said, I'm going to go to the market to go and sell some
Hats.
hats. So he gathered up the hats and he put them in a big bag. What did he put them inside?
Big.
Bag. And then he carried the bag on his head, and then he started to go to the market singing his market song. I'm going to the market, the market, the market. I'm going to the market to sell some hats. I'm going to the market, the market, the market. I'm going to the market to sell some
Hats.
Well, now, as he was going along to the market was very, very
Far.
thank you. And so all of a sudden, this man, he got what? Became very, very
Tired.
Yeah.
tired. He became very, very
Hungry.
Who did this? I said hungry. He became very, very
Thirsty.
Thirsty.
he became very thirsty, and he said, "You know what? I want to sleep." And so he got the bag and he put it down and he rested on the tree that he had put the bag near. Just as he was about to fall asleep, something fell and hit him on his head. He picked it up. What's this? He opened it. Whoa! All of a sudden, this man, he had energy. What did he have?
Energy.
No. He didn't have energy. We don't say energy back home. We say energy. So get it correct. Yeah. This man, suddenly he had what? Energy. Thank you very much. And he said, "Wow, this can make man go." And that is how mango got its name. I'm not a liar. Just to let you know. Well, the man, he picked up the bag and started to go to the market, started singing, "I'm going to the market, the market, the market. I'm going to the market to sell some hats. I'm going to the market, the market, the market. I'm going to the market to sell some hats." And of course, the market was very, very
Hot.
and so he got very, very
Tired.
and he said, "I want to
Sleep.
He found a big tree. What did he find? He found a
Big
tree. He put the bag down and fell asleep. Just as he fell asleep, monkeys came down from the tree and they took the man's hat from the bag and they ran up the tree. When the man woke up, he looked to one side. He looked to the other side. He looked up and he saw the the monkeys. They were wearing his hat, and he couldn't believe it. And so this man, he became upset and he shook his fist at the monkeys. And of course, whatever the monkey see, the monkey will do. Let's go. Whatever the monkey
See.
the monkey will
Do.
And so all of a sudden, the monkeys, they went, "Ah!" Let me see you go now. Go, "Ah!" Well, this man, he went from upset. Now he was angry. This man, he was angry now, and he shook two fists at the monkeys. "Ah!" Whatever the monkey
See.
monkey will.
Do.
And so the monkey, all of a sudden, they went, "Ah!"
Say that again. We should do this in person.
All of a sudden, sorry, whoever is talking, I can hear you, please. All of a sudden, now, the man, he went from upset to angry to furious, and he took his hat and he threw it on the floor. Whatever the monkey
See.
Is.
he will.
Do.
And so the monkeys, they threw their hats on the floor. And what did the man do? The man, he got down and he picked up the hats and he put them inside the bag. And he ran off to the market. I'm going to the market. I'm going to the market to sell some
Hats.
very much. Well, now, what was interesting, that man that day, he sold hats upon hats upon hats. He even had to sell the hat that was on his head. I'm a storyteller, I'm not allowed to lie. Well, when that man now got home, we are now going to go to the slides. He saw his grandson. And as he saw his grandson, he told his grandson about what had happened that day. He told his grandson the story about the mango. He told him the story about the monkeys. He told him other stories. Can I have the next slide, please? You see, he told him stories about Adesebo, who is actually the founder of Black History Month UK. Now, we all know about America, but now we're talking about UK, and this man is the founder, so we need to salute him. Next slide, please. He told him about the griots. That is the French word. The West African word is jelle. And these are the storytellers who would carry stories, poetry, music to inspire people and remind them of who they are. Next slide. He told him stories about Cheddar Man. When they found the bones of Cheddar Man in 1903. They said the bones of Cheddar Man are 10,000 years old. 10,000 years old. This they're saying right now is the first British man. 10,000 years old. Can you believe it? Now, this is what's even interesting. You are wondering, it's Black History Month. Why has he got a white man on there? The reason why I have this white man on there is because this white man, Adrian Taggart, is a direct descendant of Cheddar Man. So when people are telling me go back home, I said, Africans have been traveling to UK for 40 to 65,000 years. Get out of here, man. He told him the story of Lucius. The first Black emperor. Oh my goodness me. Did you hear what I said? I said the first Black emperor. That's right. There were Black emperors. He told him the story about the ivory bangle lady. The ivory bangle lady, they said she was an Afro-Roman. When they found her tomb, inside her tomb, she had the blingy bling. She had ivory. She had earrings. She had bangle, all in her tomb. So when they're talking this slavery nonsense, get out of here. Hey! He told him the story. Next slide, please. The grandfather told him the story of Billy Boston, first rugby league player in 1954. He told him the story. I hope the people who are watching are keeping up with me. I hope you're keeping up with me. Told him the story. Now, we all hear about Rosa Parks, but did you know that in 1963 in Bristol, they had a boycott because after World War II, they brought over brown and Black people and said, help us fix the country. And when those people wanted to get work, in the Bristol, they said, no, you cannot use the bus. The people said, are you mad? We have come here. Today, we will fight. Hey! And so they protested. He protested until now people are able to drive the buses. He told him this story. Are you still with me, panelists? Are you still with me? He told him the story of Vic Anderson, 1978, footballer. He told him the story of the ministers of parliament who were only elected in 1987. These Black ministers. Next slide, please. Next slide. Cheese and bread. I'm on a roll. He told him the story about Stormzy. Oh, Stormzy, please, we are still waiting for this reply. Oh, we hope that you reply soon. He told him the story about told him the story about how Stormzy was the first British Black artist to perform Glastonbury. Told him the story of Mallory Blackman, the amazing author, Chicken Backford, told him, did you know that Mallory Blackman has even written for Doctor Who? Cheese and bread. Now, he told him the story. He told him the story of David Olusoga. Now, when it comes to Black history, this man, I salute him. Hey, he told him the story. He told him the story of Adebayo Ogulesi. Can you believe this investor? I don't know if it's still the case, but at one point he was like 51% owner of Gatwick. He told him the story. When I say story, you say story. Story. You saw your me. Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, he gave his grandson these books to read, to be able to learn, to be able to grow. Because today is all about inspire, ignite, inform. What is it about? It is inspire, ignite, inspire, ignite,
Inform.
All of a sudden, this grandson now filled with this knowledge his grandfather had given him. When he grew up, he decided he too was going to be a
hat seller.
Stories. Hat seller.
So he's going to be a hat maker. What is he going to be? A what?
Hat maker.
Hat maker.
He made lots and lots of
Hats.
and it was a
New day.
day.
Oh, beautiful.
It was a beautiful day. And he said, I'm going to go to the
Market.
I'm going to go to the market to go and sell some
Hats.
He gathered up the hats and he put them inside a big bag. He put the bag on his head after he put on his own hat, and he started to go to the market singing, I'm going to the market. I'm going to the market to sell some hats. I'm going to the market. I'm going to the market to sell some hats. As he was going along, of course, he became very, very
Tired.
and he grabbed one
Mango.
Watermelon.
and suddenly he had
Energy.
Energy.
I think I did say energy again. It is energy, okay? He said all of a sudden he had energy. He picked up the bag and started to go to the market. As he was going along, of course, he became very, very
Tired.
tired. And he got the bag, he put it down, and he slept underneath a tree. Now, this tree just so happened to be the same tree that his grandfather had slept under. And as he fell asleep, suddenly monkeys came down from the tree and they took his hat and they ran up the tree. But when the man woke up, he looked to one side. He looked to the other side. And then he looked up and he saw the
Monkeys.
Monkey.
He's not wearing his hat. Well, this man, he became what? He became very, very
Angry.
You see, now this is where I tell people, you need to calm down. He started with upset. Why do you go straight to angry? Calm down. There are levels. He started and he was upset and he shook his fist at the monkey. Whatever the monkey
See.
The monkey.
Do.
They shook their fist at him. Well, this man, now he went from upset. He was what now? What was he now? He was
Angry.
Look at you now. You want to be all of a sudden. This man was angry and he shook two fists at the monkeys. Whatever the monkey see, the monkey will Do. And so the monkeys, they shook their two fists at the man. And suddenly, he clocked. He realized something. He clicked onto something. And he remembered. What did he remember? Anybody? He remembered what his grandfather had told him. He remembered the story. Hey! And because he remembered the story, he said, I know what to do. Hey! But first, he had to test it. And so he waved at the monkeys. Whatever the monkeys see, the monkey will do. So what did the monkeys do? They waved back at the man. Well, all of a sudden now, the man, he took off his hat and he threw it on the floor. Whatever the monkey sees, the monkey will see.
The monkey
what do the monkeys do?
They threw the hats.
No.
They took their hat and they threw it on the ground.
No. They didn't. Instead, one of the monkeys ran down, took the hat, and ran up the tree. He was confused.
And he picked up his hat.
One of the monkeys spoke and said, "Hey, do you think you are the only one that had a grandfather? Stories too. So this time we are going to keep all of the hearts. When I say story, you say story. Thank you all very much. Thank you. My name is Alim Kamara. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why we are here today. We are here to hear stories, stories that will inspire, ignite, and inform. What do they do? They will inspire, ignite, and inform. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a fine group of melanated individuals who are coming to share today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start first of all with our present founder. This is now going to be a panel discussion. I hope you are ready, your ears are tuned, because these people are going to inspire, ignite, and inform. So I'm going to ask David, Anika, Femi, and Chantel to just tell us about yourself. Who are you? Tell us one at a time. Let us start with you, David.
Hi everyone, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Great. So my name is David Sayo, and I'm the director of programs here at Foundervine, and I'm also at Foundervine. I'm also the co-founder of Wealth 8, which is a digital wealth and investment platform. Thank you.
Cool. And Anika, who are you and what do you do?
Okay, so good evening, everybody. I'm Anika Allen, and I am the co-founder of the Black Magic Awards. The Black Magic Awards is an award where we celebrate phenomenal British Black talent. And so, it's been going for the last 4 years, and we celebrate professionals, entrepreneurs, and people that are doing amazing things within the community and kind of shine a light on what they're doing and thank them for paving the way.
Beautiful. And we have Femi and Chantel.
Okay, so I'm Chantel, and I'm the founder of Bull Bells and Trade-offs. So firstly, Bull Bells is a lifestyle brand for children. I basically use my clothing brand, which is Bull Bells, to bridge the gap for children of color who wanted to get their feet into the fashion role but felt unseen. So yes.
Fantastic. And I'm Femi, of course. And I started a bookkeeping and accountancy business called Wissot, which stands for what it says on the tin. And essentially, Wissot is a business which aims to support the self-employed and small businesses in terms of helping them to grow and develop and keep a tight hold of all their finances. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. And can I just remind the audience, please make sure you drop your questions in the question and answer section, and we're going to get to that. So please, we want you to learn from these individuals that we have here today. So David, are you there, sir? David, I'm going to come to you and ask you. Now, I must let you know that I've been on your website. And if by any chance you happen to go on my website and the design looks similar, it was a coincidence, because your website is on point. It looks clean. It looks good. So, but what inspired you to get into your current role and position?
Great. So, currently in 2 roles. So, I'll start with Founder Vine and talk that through. So, my passion has always been around that economic empowerment and how can you advance the lives of underserved communities, but most importantly, how can you use digital technology to actually positively impact society? And so Founder Vine, we kind of started a group of like-minded individuals who highlighted there's a gap in an issue in the market where you, in London, for instance, where you've got 1 in 9 of senior people like tech companies would be from a Black and Asian background, whilst the population of London is marginally people from Black backgrounds. So it's really like this opportunity gap that kind of inspires to get into the role and work we do to actually bridge and ensure that people get the opportunities. And secondly, with Wealth 8, so the inspiration behind Wealth 8 is a digital wealth and investment service that is designed specifically for people of Black and ethnic minority backgrounds. And again, really the inspiration here is how can we bridge the racial wealth gap that exists in the UK and elsewhere? And how do we support the communities through financial education and providing the ability to actually access financial markets? So that's my inspiration, using digital innovation to positively impact society.
Beautiful, powerful. I've got questions, but I'm going to hold back. I really want to ask some questions, but hopefully people will be sending questions because we want to get some answers from you, because what you're doing is amazing. Now we're going to move over to Anika, who is the founder of Black Magic Awards. Now, I've been on your website as well. And I'm seeing big stages. I'm seeing big stages. I'm seeing, like, I swear I saw Trevor, what's this guy, this DJ, Trevor what? What's his name? Then I saw the dancer, the Congolese, Eddie Gadi. Then I even saw Gina Yashere. You're doing big things. So I need to ask you, for you to get to that level, I know you've had some challenges. So what are some of the things and challenges that you have faced, and how have you overcome them? All right, so what I'm going to quickly do, I'm going to jump over to Femi and Chantel, and then we'll get Anika sorted. So if we can jump over to Femi and Femi and Chantel, if you were to go back in time and you saw your younger self, and you grabbed your younger self by the ear and said, "Hey, you, come here. What advice would you give to your younger self?"
I think I would say to myself, don't rush to accomplish career milestones. Can you hear me? Yeah. Because I've noticed once I achieve something, I don't stay in that moment and actually enjoy it. I'm rushing to now get to the other milestone, and it becomes a cycle. And I just need to tell myself, life is a journey. Like, it's a whole process. It's a long game. So stay in the moment and really enjoy that moment, and you will get where you need to get to as long as you're putting the work. Don't try and jump to each milestone. Enjoy.
That's powerful. Even I know I have this thing where I have to say to myself when I'm in that position as well, I'm like, where are you? Here. What time is it? Now. What are you? This moment. And that helps me to be able to calm down. Where are you? Here. What time is it? Now. What are you this moment? So thank you for that. Brother, talk to me, Femi.
My one, what I'd say to a younger me is don't take no for an answer before you've even asked the question. And essentially, what that means is that there's sometimes you think that you can't attain things or you can't get something, and you tell yourself no, 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 and you don't actually go and ask the question to get an answer. And just a quick example, one of my mentors who he's got lots of properties, he's got lots of business, and he's created wealth for himself really well. I went for a meeting with him and went to a car dealership. It was a Mercedes car dealership at the time. And at the time, this was a couple of years ago, obviously at that time I couldn't afford it, so I didn't want to go in. I was very reluctant to go in. But he kind of encouraged me to go in. So we walked around, looked at a couple of cars, walked in and spoke to the people inside and everything. And it was actually a really pleasant experience. But my point was, at that time, I kept telling myself, no. I kept telling myself that I can't afford it, so I shouldn't go in there. And I think sometimes people do that with their own business. And I know I've done that with my business and also with my personal life, where I'm telling myself, no, 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 but I haven't even asked the question. Once you ask the question, you get an answer, even if it's no. At least, number one, you know the answer. And in some situations, that no isn't always a sound no. That no sometimes is no, not right now, but maybe later on, or no, change your approach and come again. So that's what I told to my younger self, like, please, do not take no for an answer before you've even asked the question.
Jeez, you are a destiny child. When they say no, 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 you say yeah, 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 yeah. That is a bad joke, but it's cool. We'll keep it moving. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to go back to the founder of Black Magic Awards, Anika. Are you ready? Talk to me. Tell me, what are the biggest challenges that you have faced and how did you overcome them? I know there are probably many, but if you can think of one or two, that would be awesome.
I would say I face as a founder with probably the access to finance and also representation. And so growing up, I had to know I could be it before I could see it. I never saw anybody looking like me doing the things that I wanted to do career-wise. Definitely not exploring entrepreneurship. However, and which is why I'm a big believer in representation and highlighting the stories of people in our community, which is why I founded the Black Magic Awards, because going to schools and doing kind of mentoring and meeting young people, they would often, when you ask them who are their role models, they'd always kind of say people in America or, you know, never anybody in the UK. So I wanted a platform where I could kind of tell our stories, showcase the people that are doing amazing things within business, within their professional careers, and thank them for paving the way, because we know it's not easy to succeed here in the UK, particularly if you're Black. And they've managed to get to the top of their game, and we wanted to say thank you. So that's why I started the Black Magic Award. And I would say for me, not seeing anybody that looked like me doing the things that I wanted to do sometimes made me doubt my abilities growing up. I didn't want other people to doubt, you know, their abilities or feel, you know, have imposter syndrome or think they can't do something because they're not seeing somebody that looks like them doing what they needed to do. And I guess the other thing was access to finance. Like, I never knew that, you know, you could go to venture capitalists or, you know.
Oh, you've gone again. We've lost Anika again. Okay, so all right, Anika, we've lost you again. Can you say something so I can see if I can hear you? No, you are gone. I'm sorry. But listen, please, as you've seen, Anika's doing amazing things. So listen, we need more questions. I'm seeing like 2 questions. I want to see more questions in there. You have individuals here who are doing amazing things. And I hope that next time, when all of this is finished, we can all get our opportunity to turn up at a Black Magic Awards and go and support and show love. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed our present founder panel discussion. So now we are going to move over. Next slide. Into the future. All right. So in the room, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're still with us. We have Melissa, Toby, and Akeem. So Melissa, tell us, who are you?
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Kim. My name is Melissa, and I am the founder of Women Like Me. It is a community organization, and I started it to uplift, celebrate, and inspire women that work in STEAM industries. And that was really based off my own experiences working in tech, working in the creative field, and just like what was mentioned before, not seeing people that look like me, not seeing women with afros, not seeing young Black women doing their thing. And I thought, I really just want to change that. So I started working with a good friend of mine from university, and we were upskilling people in digital marketing skills at the time. And I organized like my first fireside chat with him, and I just noticed a lot more women were coming through. And I thought, okay, let me just do events and see what will happen. And then it just went from one event to another, and kind of just snowballed into something. So it was an accident, but an accident that has now become a big part of my life. So yeah.
That is a powerful accident to make. Congratulations, congratulations. Can I have Toby in the house? Toby, please tell us who you are.
Hello. Yeah. I'm just an A-level student. I finished my A-levels this year.
Wait. Stop. Toby, how dare you? You just said I am just an A-level student. No, my G, my brother. You are not just an A-level student. Get out of here with that. I am not having that nonsense. Start again, please. Start again. No, you can't do this. You are future. This is future founder discussion. So please come back again, my brother. Please.
Okay. So currently I am an upcoming apprentice. I have an apprenticeship coming up in the next couple months, and it's going to be started in financial crime. And obviously, with the difficulties of coronavirus and everything, it was, quite difficult, especially with a lot of apprenticeships getting cancelled at the time, a lot of uncertainty within a lot of companies because they don't know what is actually going on in terms of finance and all sorts. But I would say, God willing, and with a bit of hard work, I did push through, and I'm glad to say that I did obviously have the opportunity to do that. In terms of a couple plans I do have down the line as well. I do want to say it, but I'm really trying to help a lot in the community and kind of give back in terms of people who are less fortunate and may have come from a similar background as me. But yeah, and just trying to develop myself for now, so I'll be able to help other people really and truly.
That is powerful, man. That is powerful. That is what and that's why we're all on this earth. We're all here to serve. And it's interesting that you touched on the COVID situation, because there are people right now who are making more money than they have ever made. There are opportunities that are out there now that weren't there before. Me, I learned to do green screen. I've been dreaming about doing green screen for ages. I've been able to sit down and work on more digital packages for what I'm able to deliver for schools and businesses. So loving hear that. Now, this next gentleman here, I'm going to ask you who is your father, because if you had a beard, we would look like twins. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Akeem. Akeem, are you from Sierra Leone? Are you from Sierra Leone?
Of course I am. Of course.
Hey, Kushe, my brother.
Kushe.
How's the body?
The body fine.
So for those of you who don't know, I just greeted Akeem in the language of Sierra Leone called Creole. And when you say Kushe, that means greetings. When you say how the body, you're asking the question, how are you? And the response is, the body fine. In other words, I'm good. So, Akeem, tell us about yourself, please.
Yes. I'm an aspiring entrepreneur. I currently work in strategy for FIS, but over the past few months, I've started a company called Locker
Sorry,
Space, and
sorry. What is FIS? What is FIS?
FIS is a financial services firm.
Oh, thank you,
Who
thank you, thank you.
Yeah, FIS, a financial services firm, in payments. I work in the strategy team, and I founded Locker Space, which is a online marketplace for independent sports brands. I'm not a big fan of Sports Directs. I think that all the other sport retailers just aren't doing a good enough jobs. I found a lot of really cool sports companies online. So why not make a
Wow.
place where everyone can go and find the hottest and latest sports brands? So that's what I've made.
Ooh, that is powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you are typing in your questions because we want this is a conversation that we want to have going. So please make sure you're sending in questions. Remember, nobody can see you. It doesn't hurt for you to just go tick it, tick it, tick it, tick it, because your mind is thinking the question, but you might be waiting for somebody else to ask the question. Don't wait for somebody else to ask it. You ask the question so you can get the answer, and many others will get the answers too. So I am going to come back to you, Melissa. Melissa, we have a question for you. Now, when your business is up there and it is at the top of the industries, at the top of its game, how are you going to make sure that the great work of diversity continues?
Yeah, that was kind of my reaction when I learned this is the question I had to answer. It's interesting for me because, as I said, this was an accident, and even up to this day, I kind of struggle with thinking of my community as a business. I'm being mentored by an incredible woman who mentors a lot of social entrepreneurs, and who actually was introduced to me by Izzy Obeng. And even though I'm working with her, I still don't see my business as a business. I'm just like Company's House. I actually have to log into this thing, and I think just it's hard to think of there being a top when it comes to community work, because we're all in this together.
Okay.
And I'm like, I can never be at the top by myself. I have to bring people with me. And for me, it's all about the community effort, and I think that's what inherently is wrong with society today. And that's why racism does exist, because people do think there is a top, so I want to dispel that. I want to crack down on that and get rid of that. And then that's where I think we'll start seeing true diversity, it's everybody having the voice heard, everybody being seen, everybody having a say in important decisions that are made. How we get there, it's been a journey. I think there's been a lot of talking so far, and I want to see more action. I think the women around me want to see more action. Even the other day, I got an email. My friend was like, "No, I just got an OBE for helping people in social housing. Like, what are the next steps? I want to help more." And I think that's the attitude we all need to have. How can I help? There's never going to be a top. We're never going to stop. This problem area that we're all trying to solve of racism, inequality, is big enough where this can be endless. We might not even see the change in this generation, but at least our children, will be living good. I don't want anyone else to have to go into the workplace and be like, you need to change your hair. I want everybody to just be having afros, to be doing their thing as Black people. And that's why I just appreciate, platforms like this, people like Natalie, people like Izzy, the whole Founder Vine team, because, they're making the change possible for everyone.
Beautiful.
That answers the question.
Are you? Yes. And are you connected with David by any chance?
No, I'm not. With Izzy.
You're not.
No.
So, David, please call this lady, right? Because we love the fact that we love the fact that you have it as a community event. And what you find is there's gonna come a time when you are also going to need to make sure that you're financially okay, secure, to be able to do greater works. So you can still, it doesn't take away from looking at it as just a community. Barclays serve a community. This is what it is. But at the same time, you can still ensure that you are well looked after. So please, David, if you can connect with Melissa, and this is what this is all about.
Yes.
And
thank you. I got a nasty surprise when I had to get my accountant and file the tax. So yes, please.
Beautiful. Well, you see. So the numbers are speaking. The numbers are speaking. So better numbers means that you can rest as well. And if you're resting, you can wake up and do greater work. But it reminds me of a story. Actually, we're good for time. It reminds me of a story of this man who turns up to this village, and when he turns up to the village, he turns up with a basket of sweets, and he goes up to the children, and he says to them, "Whoever can get to that tree first, I will give them this basket of sweets." And the children are all excited, like, "Really? All those sweets?" And he's like, "Yes." And so, of course, the man says, "On your marks," and the children are there. "Get set, go." Man is expecting children to run, but they don't run. Instead, what they do is they hold hands and they walk to the tree together so they can get there at the same time. And the man, he's confused. He cannot understand, because in his head, he's like, no, there's only supposed to be one winner. And he goes up to one of them, and he goes up to the eldest as he sees him distributing the sweets. He's like, I don't understand. Like, you could have had all the sweets. And then one of the children shouts out, "Ubuntu." He's like, "What?" He says, "Ubuntu." Ubuntu is I am, because we are. We are in this together. So thank you so much, Melissa. We look forward to pushing you, encouraging you into the future. Next up, Toby. This one, I think we've touched on this in our hearts, but I'm going to throw the question to you. Seeing the state of the world as it is at the minute, what would you change and why? Seeing the world as it is at this minute, what would you change and why?
See, now you just flipped that one on me, because now you're saying I'm trying to think about the whole world now, because if you asked me this maybe a couple of days ago, I may not have been aware of a couple of issues, So today is obviously different from yesterday. And obviously we know the whole situation happening in Nigeria, even in Africa as a whole, but obviously Nigeria, that's what I can kind of come across and say now. But boy, if we're being honest, there's a lot of stuff happening in the whole world, and I definitely feel like there needs to just be a lot more love somewhere, somehow. Like, there needs to be love, man. And I kind of want to touch on the Nigerian part, because this is kind of a big thing.
Bro, Flo, this is a platform. Let's have the conversation.
This is close to home as well, because this is actually kind of a place where I've always traveled to often. Even if I was born in this country, I feel like I'm quite cultured in terms of being able to speak the language, and even having cousins or family back home as well, and you're actually hearing this is real life. And I think a lot of the time people kind of put things aside, I would say. Let me kind of a way to explain it. It's kind of like they don't realize that right now when we're living, we are we are history. This is something where in the future, if we touch wood, we get there, because right now it's looking crazy. But in the future, they will look back on this, and this is what they will speak about as such a small, minute thing. Right now, it's crazy. But I really do think, in terms of health for the world, us as a black people as well, African, need to support our own countries, You know, the UK, I would say, is doing a lot for, you know, people like me, people like us, which are sitting here, we're doing quite well with our lives, but we're making the most of it. And we're in another person's country, if you think about it. You know, we have a whole life somewhere else, which we should be having, but because back home isn't sorted out, we can't really do anything. Even here, there's certain laws which are put in place which just doesn't help us. It doesn't support us, you know. And what's the point of, you know, trying to put it into their kind of law when we can make our own type of, you know, law back home and control our own country which suits us.
Right.
So I feel like there needs to be a bit more of a foundation, a bit more. We need to invest in a lot back home. I think that's the main issue. A lot of government issues, corruption. You know, we need a bit more black institutions. I know it is very hard, but at the end of the day, it's something which is important as well. So yeah, I've been going on a tangent anyway.
No. I think, you know what, and that's why I'm giving you the space, because it's clearly something that is troubling. And even one of the things I realized during this period is there's a man by the name of Jordan Peterson, I believe his name is, and he said, they asked him about changing the world, and he said, clean up your bedroom. First thing you need to do is tidy up your room. So it's looking at us seeing ourselves as a world. And whilst you right now are the future. So you work on you and you begin to see how that shifts the world around you, because you are a world, you are a universe, you're part of this world. So one of the things I say is let's continue to work on ourselves. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, please remember, get typing with the questions. Get typing with the questions so that we can get our people, our panelists, to be answering these questions. As you're hearing, there's a lot coming out and there's a lot that you can learn. So please, let's get these questions out. And right now, we are going to go over to Mr. Akim Bundu Kamara. So, if you were give one bit of advice to your older self. In other words, you go into the future. What would you remind or say to yourself?
I would say probably that there will be hard times. Hard times, and these hard times are just a test of my character, of my values, and of my skill. Do I know how to solve a problem? Hard times will really test me to know if I can really solve a hard problem, and if my decision making is good, whether I stick to the plan or whether I change it. If I'm confident enough to do it, I think that's the one thing that I want to tell myself. Everything in the future that's hard is a challenge that I just need to overcome, and that's it.
Jeez, leaping over hurdles. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just heard from the future panel. So I want to share a quick story with you. When we're looking at the past founders and the future founders, something I'm reminded of this story. There's a story about a snail. And this snail takes 7 years to cross the road. That's right, 7 whole years just to cross the road. When the snail gets to the other side, a huge, massive tree falls down, lands, and bang! Misses the snail. Well, the snail turns around. That takes him about 2 weeks just to turn around. And the snail looks at the tree and says, phew! It sure is good to be fast. And I love sharing story in schools and seeing young people debate as to whether the snail is slow or fast. I leave that up to you to decide. So, ladies and gentlemen, right now I want to say thank you to our panelists. From the present panelists, we have David, Anika, Femi, and Chantel. And from the future panelists, we have Melissa, Toby, and Akeem. At this point in time, we are now going to call in Natalie to help me facilitate this next segment that we are about to go into. So just to quickly remind you again, if you have any questions, this is the time to get your questions in. And for the rest of this segment, we're just going to be throwing questions. I hope you guys are ready because this one now, there's no preparation. So just pop, pop, pop. That's what's going to happen. So Natalie, are you there? Are you there, Natalie? Don't leave me by myself.
I am here.
Thank you.
I'll never leave you, Liam. I am here, and I'm hoping you all can hear me. Fabulous, we love it. So I have a lot of questions here, and I'm really, really excited to kick them off. So this question is actually for all of the panelists. So how long did it take you until you felt confident that you were on the right path for your venture? So I think let's go round.
Just about to say, let's go around. So we'll start with David. David.
Great. So founder of the story, I remember back in just late 2017, beginning 2018, sitting with Izzy, Cecil, and just kind of talking through what we were trying to achieve with Founder. So we understood the problem, and it was about how do we ensure that more people, kind of back to Anika's point around representation and seeing role models and getting to where they're going. And initially it was just each time you come up with an idea of what you're going to do next, and it was kind of having big visions and just working together and making it happen. And all of a sudden, okay, we've done it. And like, there's this impact, and we see the impact, and it's growing. And I think for me, where we realized we're on the right path is we run, in addition to the accelerator programs that we're doing with Barclays, we run these startup weekends where you bring people together for 3 days to build a startup. And seeing one of the winners from one in May 2018 that left on the Sunday, but came in, I was about to go home. I wasn't confident. I didn't think my idea is worth anything. And seeing her 6 months down the line, she built an idea, got her co-founders, is bringing it to market, is on Sky News. But just the impact you can have on someone that otherwise would have said to themselves, I cannot be an entrepreneur. And at that point, it's like, that's when we need to ensure that what we are doing is so impactful. And there are plenty more people out there that are sleeping, walking on the bus, on the tube, that may never do anything with ideas if it wasn't for what we are doing. And that's what continues to drive us today.
Wow. Brilliant. Melissa,
can we
oh, sorry.
Fabulous, thank you.
Okay. Should I go or no?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think for me, when did I know I was on the right path? I think just when I had my first event and people were like, Mel, like talking about finances, they were like, yeah, we would pay for this. Like, this is valuable, and you can really just change someone's whole demeanor just with your words and with what you kind of put into a space. And I think it was actually seeing me create an event and create an atmosphere where it didn't exist yet. Right? Like, for example, I basically will get a venue and then just make it into something that someone hasn't seen before. Like, I remember I really enjoyed an event about mental well-being, which I did on the Isle of Dogs. I don't know if everyone knows yet, East London, Isle of Dogs. And it was in this like abandoned warehouse. And it was mad just to see how the space could be transformed and that everyone could just really just be themselves, and people were just telling their stories and talking about, their well-being and their health as women. And it was just intimate. It was just a perfect space. And, from that moment I said, I need to keep doing this. I need to do it again and again. And I just gave myself like an objective, like let me do an event every month, you know. And I missed a few couple months, you know, just to prepare and get logistics sorted out. But yeah, I just didn't stop, just kept going. And I think, again, I knew I was on the right path when it could just happen naturally, you know. So instead of like having to look for a venue or having to work really hard to create an agenda, it will just come up like overnight, just in my head. Or someone will be like, yeah, Mel, we've got this venue, come speak here, come speak there. So yeah.
Beautiful. I'm going to switch it up because I think we've got a lot of questions coming in, and I'm conscious that I want to get round to all of the questions. So there's an actual question for Anika directly. The question goes, you have a lot of experience with influential figures. Do you think you've made it as a Black woman, the job in terms of opening doors for others to follow? Or do you think there needs to be more active effort for those Black individuals, figures, to open up doors?
Firstly, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm a very big believer in sending the elevator back down. In anything I've ever done in life, I make sure that I mentor. I make sure that I kind of do things to kind of help the next generation of talent come through. And I think we all have a responsibility to, if we've kind of gotten ahead in our specific fields, to help the next generation to get ahead, with that in the workplace, whether that's in business, you know, so to mentor, to sponsor people. So when I say sponsorship, for those that don't know what that means, you know, advocate for that person when they're not in the room, help them to get those opportunities needed. And so I guess for me, I started off my career as a music, entertainment and lifestyle journalist. And so that's why I'm able to kind of connect to the kind of, I guess, the celebrities and talent. It was because of my work in that area, where I used to go to different interviews and mix of PRs and different people at, you know, labels and things. I kept those connections and built those relationships. Whereas today I could use that for the Black Magic Awards to secure talent, to, you know, to attend the event, to, you know, be guest presenters, etc. and things. And hearing the stories of people on stage on the night, you will see that a lot of them, you know, were happy for people to walk on their shoulders, are happy for people to get in touch with them and connect with them to help them get ahead. And I'm a big believer in, if you don't ask, you don't get. And I think that, you know, everybody that we kind of honor at the Black Magic Awards are happy to help people get their foot in the door within those respective industries. Hope that answers the question.
Powerful. Natalie, do you mind if I jump in quickly? So, I got a call from you in regards to making this happen. And I know that maybe you don't want to be in the spotlight, but I'm going to put you on check right now and ask you, what made you get this together and make this happen? Why did you do it? I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
You did put me on the spotlight there. I think there's a couple of reasons why I did it. Thanks for that. No, there's a couple of reasons why I think it's important that we do things like this. So just for some context for the people that have joined the call, I joined Eager Labs space, and I think we as Black individuals, we are so powerful in terms of creating new projects, looking at things from a different perspective that sometimes isn't necessarily done, especially in the corporate world. So just to kind of fast forward, I set up the first set of Black History Month events last year. And I always pride myself as that mouthy Southeast London girl that doesn't necessarily know when to be quiet. So I invited our CEO to come down and really just hear from Black founders themselves, fast forward 12 months and kind of seeing, you know, there was only 3 different locations that participated in Black History Month to now where we've built a program to support Black founders. And, you know, 13 of our locations across the UK have all specifically run their own individual Black History Month to help their local communities. I think, again, that just came from me having my voice and using it. And I think that, you know, to say, I think Femi brought it in really, really beautifully earlier around never take no as your answer, and always go in with the question. And I think that is exactly what I done in Eagle Labs, and you know, my voice was heard, and we've been able to run this event, bring you beautiful panelists on to kind of share your stories, but also come up with a tangible program there to support the Black community. So again, I didn't rehearse that, so I hope that answered your question. But yeah, I think our voices are powerful. And I think especially in different businesses and organizations, I would say to anyone that's out there listening, don't let anything kind of stop you from progressing and stop you from doing what you want to do. I think a lot of the people on this panel have recognized that there isn't a space for us, and we've made a space for us. And I think, you know, this year we're seeing a lot of people stand with us and you know, recognize we can't be silent anymore. So yeah, without going on too much, that's some of my thoughts.
Thank you. Cool.
No worries. Should I go back to some of the questions now?
Let's do that.
Another question.
Oh, you're breaking up a little.
Natalie, you've gone again.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Now we can.
We've always got tech.
Yeah.
The question that I've got for Akeem from Locker Space. So how do you balance your job working on Locker Space? Do you feel like you are decreasing any type of performance at work with your full-time role?
Very interesting question. I'm gonna flip it. I think I'm actually better at my job. The amount of things I've learned at my job, because there's a lot of elements that I use from my job on Locker Space, and vice versa, things I learn making Locker Space from a legal point of view, from a financial point of view, speaking to stakeholders, because we have to speak and sell to a lot of key brands. I gained that sales experience. My role is in strategy, so then I know how to speak to the sales team and vice versa. So I definitely feel I've actually improved in my day job. And then in terms of from a time management point of view, I think that's just about being in a routine and being quite sharp. When I was younger, I've handled a lot of things, wherever it's like playing sports or just having some sort of activity where you need to get yourself into a habit. You need to stay like really on point and focused. Unfortunately, I don't have my mum to do that anymore or wake me up in the morning, so I've got to be able to do that myself. So I'm just applying those traits to myself for both Locker Space and also my role at work.
Beautiful.
Honestly, thank you guys so much for popping through your questions. They're literally going off, and I'm conscious of time, so I want to get through as much as possible and get everyone to have an opportunity to speak. So a question for Chantel. How did you find balancing your goals and being satisfied, and what have you achieved to date?
That's a good one. I guess it's all about discipline, which sometimes I'm not the best at, okay? But as Akeem that just spoke, right? Yeah, he just says it's a routine kind of thing. You have to get yourself into a routine, and that's how I have to go about it. Like before I go to bed, most times, like I have a plan set out what I need to do the next day. so that I'm not overlapping and having the time frames and things like that. So really tight ship. Don't always work, but it helps because you stay in those lines. What I've achieved so far with being disciplined is that recently I've had Chris Brown's daughter in my clothing and been featured on BET, one of the largest Black network in America. So discipline works, and it takes dedication because sometimes you're not going to feel like do it, but I have to, and you have to be like your biggest motivator because sometimes your friends, your moms, they're not there. So you got to give yourself that pep talk, see your why, and just keep going for it. So yeah.
Absolutely love that. Thank you so much. And congratulations, I think is in order.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Another really quick question for David. David, when did you decide that you wanted to be an entrepreneur, and for what reason?
So I think I always had a bit of an entrepreneurial flair. So I started off. I remember when I was at school. So my mum used to live in America, and I used to fly with America, and I used to basically go to outlet malls. This is when the pound was £1 to $2, and I would buy clothes in the outlet mall. So let's say you went to Ralph Lauren, it was like $20 or $30. It's worth £50 in the UK, and that's $20 is £10. So that was probably the beginning of my just thinking about how do you maybe make some money. But later down the line a bit, I think it's really just my passion for just wanting to build and have impact. So it's like knowing that I can have an idea and it is possible to impact the world with whatever I think, and I don't have to have thoughts and keep it to myself. And when you see great people that have done anything, it's all possible. So I think that drive and just wanting to have the impact that I want to have, and maybe not it being constrained by someone else. So that's really been my drive and continues to drive me today. So.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. Again, these questions are rolling in. I'm trying to get through them as much as possible. So I've got a question for who hasn't answered a question yet on our panel. Just trying to see. I think everyone. Do you know what? I'm going to throw one at Indy. Oh, you got two people there. So let me go back a little bit. Sorry, guys. So, the two that haven't answered any questions yet. One question, and I'll let anyone pick this one. How do you challenge in the face of adversity? Now, that's quite a broad question, so take that as you want. But how do you challenge in the face of adversity?
Maybe I'll answer that.
Someone to pick that. Perfect. Love that.
All right. So I'll answer that in my way. So I think my initial challenge, I guess, was starting my business. So from the get-go, I've always known that I wanted to start a business. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know when or whatnot. As time went on, and having studied accounting and finance at university, and also worked for a few companies doing finances and things like that, I realized, okay, yeah, it's time that I do start. But I guess my challenge at the time was, how do I go about starting? Like, who do I speak to? Where do I get the necessary sort of information that I need to start? So obviously that comes with doing research, networking, speaking to as many people as possible, looking for people who've actually also started similar sort of businesses, and actually speaking to them and getting advice, but also looking at other businesses out there that are doing the things that you want to do, but they're sort of like at the top, not necessarily international, very large, but like on a sort of scale that I want to sort of grow to. So I use things like Yale to look at the best bookkeeping and accounting business in the UK, and went on their website, looked at a few of their things, and from that information I found, that kind of gave me a little bit more confident of how to go about shaping my business. And I guess that then falls into, I'm not sure if anyone else falls the same way, but when you think about starting a business, one of the things that I guess is a worry or concern is where you're going to find people who buy into your business. Like, are there like actual people? How are you going to market your business? How are you going to reach out to your clients and things like that? And that was one of the things that I guess I found challenging as well, because I'd created everything, created a website, registered on Companies House, made sure that in terms everything I needed to do legally was all sorted out and whatnot. And it was just like, okay, now I'm in business. Where's my first client kind of thing? Like, where are they going to come from? But once you kind of like create your marketing strategy and you put it out there, as long as you've done everything that you can do at that point, people will come to you. There are people that need the business that you provide. There are people that need the services. There's always people out there. No matter how small, how many, there's always people out there. And no matter how you price it as well, there's always people out there. And that's one of the things that I actually realized and I had to kind of overcome and just put it out there. And I then got my first client, and from speaking to them actually and just talking to them and providing them with advice on the things that they needed to do, because they were self-employed and they had a business, but they didn't know anything in regards to their tax returns. They didn't know if they could take money out of their business and things like that. And just advising them. And at the end of the call, like seeing how calm they were, and they were thanking me. They were like, I'm really glad that I had this conversation with you, because it's put my mind at ease. All these worries that I've had on my shoulders from speaking to you now helped me to alleviate them. And that's what made me realize that whatever challenge that you have, like, you just need to go for it, like, and people will come to you and you'll be able to overcome it as well.
Absolutely love that. Thank you so much. And I know we're conscious of time, but there is a last question, and it's directly for you, Toby. So my question to you is, do you feel you have better opportunity prospects than that of Black men that came before you 10 years ago?
God, it had to come to me, didn't it?
I do.
How many minutes do I have, by the way?
I mean, the event closes in 8 minutes, so not too long.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this one nice and short. Let me just break it down. So I do feel like race was a much bigger issue when maybe things like social media or in the past, where racism was kind of out in the open. So I would say that more people had prospects back then. I think nowadays people don't really see race as an issue. So I would say it's not really a change in prospects, because in reality, we both have the same prospects. We both want the same things. So I just feel like nowadays there's just less of that, and I want to say maybe it's their fault, but at the same time, I don't want to blame them, because it's kind of like the world has kind of given us a false image of things getting better when it really isn't. Most of the things are just done hidden, and once again, we can take Africa for instance. You're seeing our independence, but I don't feel like we've actually gained a proper independence. Same with all the other countries in Africa as well. There's not that real sort of independence, and there's always someone kind of working behind the lines, trying to pull strings or taking advantage, as Africa is very resourceful. But yeah, I just want to answer the question anyway. I do feel like the prospects haven't changed really. I think it's just the amount of people who do actually have the prospects.
And I think, and that's why I wanted to come to you, because I think, you are the next generation, essentially. And I think, we've all seen in the last couple of days and then, the last couple of months that we still have a very long way to go. but that doesn't mean that we're not taking the right steps to get there. It just means that, you know, when I look at my mum, for example, who came over on the Windrush generation, her experiences of UK was very different from what I've experienced. But like you said, that doesn't defeat all of the things that are going on across the world, especially in Nigeria today. So no, thank you so much, Toby. And I've also been told that I can run a few minutes late. So that's brilliant. So what I'm going to do is, before we end, I'm going to put Aleem on the spot because he wanted to do that to me earlier. So Aleem, just a very quick question for you. Closing thoughts before we kind of end the day. So a quick question: how much of your mindset and psychology does that attribute to your success?
Say that question again, please.
Do you want me to repeat it again for you? So how much of your mindset and psychology do you attribute to your success?
And nowadays, especially, peace of mind is everything for me. Like I was saying before, I had this vision when I was young of this P. Diddy. I want to make it all. I want to sell things. I want to do music and all of these things. And I remember my mom saying, "Hey, don't you stop. You just come, drop your bag and you go. You are just all the time in, out, in, out, in, out." And back then, I was just like, "Mom, you don't get it. I have to hustle right now." And then it gets to the point where at the end of the day, you're just so tired. And you think to yourself, well, what good if I'm not going to bed, I'm falling asleep. There's a difference between falling asleep and going to bed. So when I'm going to bed consciously. When I'm falling asleep, the TV's on, the lights are on. So for me, mentally, it's very important that I watch where I am, where I'm going. And that's why I say, what did I say before? What time is it? Where are you? Here. What time is it? Now. What are you this moment? Where are you? Here. What time is it? Now. What are you this moment? And it reminds me, Alan, stay present. So that for me is one of the things that I aim to do more in as I'm doing the work that I do.
Thank you so much with that. And with that, can I say a massive thank you to all of our panelists, including the fantastic Aleem, who's been our storyteller today. So I'll give you a lovely round of applause. Thank you so much for joining us on this panel today. So I think there was a lot there that I've really taken away from this event. And I guess there's so much different thoughts that I could really put to play, but I think the one thing for me that I've taken away, and I've said time and time before, is don't allow anyone to really stop you from progressing and doing what you need to achieve. And, you know, I think that is really an ethos that all of these panelists have gone through and kind of live by. Indy, I'm going to bring you across really quickly. I don't know if you had any takeaway thoughts in terms of today's event.
Oh, I did. So many. I think I realized during all of the speeches that there is enough space for everyone to thrive, and how important community is within what we're doing, not just for the physical gains of having a business, but what it does for our mental success and greatness. And I think it was when the statement, "I am because we are," that's such a powerful thing, that actually we can all do this together and create a world where, you know, our generations, our kids and our kids and our kids don't have to struggle because we've come together to create unity. So for me, that was just, absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. Yeah.
It's been an absolutely amazing event. So, Indy, do you want to tell our audience about the exciting work that we've been working on, Barclays, Eagle Labs and Foundervine, for Black founders in the community?
Yes, so as you all know, we have launched the Barclays Black Founder Accelerator program. It is a 12-week program that has been developed to champion diversity and innovation in entrepreneurship. So we are so excited for this. It is our mission to empower Black founders to grow and scale their businesses. And as I've said, thrive and thrive and thrive. So for me, I may be a bit biased, but I actually think this is a bit of a perfect program because we have embedded absolutely everything needed to support the success of all of our founders. So not only will they have opportunities to take part in masterclasses that are led by experts in the relative fields, but they will also have the opportunity to be mentored and coached by people that have been in their shoes, that have experienced exactly what they are currently going through. So they will be taking away knowledge from our masterclasses, whether it's in finance, marketing, branding, all the legal things you need to know, to actually building a community of like-minded founders that will be changing, that have already started changing the world. So if there's anyone out there that still wants to apply, there are so many opportunities. The closing date is not until the 29th of October, and you can see the application form via the Foundervine website or the Barclays website. So please, please, please have a look. You can also contact myself and Natalie if you have any questions, but we welcome everyone because it's going to be a great opportunity to just come together and build.
It's going to be a brilliant opportunity. So with that, thank you all so much for joining. I know we are 1 minute past time, but we was able to bring that back for you. But thank you so much all for coming on and celebrating our National Black History Month event with Barclays Eagle Labs. I hope you all enjoyed it as thoroughly as I did. And be sure to check out the Barclays Eagle Labs website just for more things around what we are doing to support the Black community. But thank you all for joining and have a lovely evening.